Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
This series contains adult language and descriptions of graphic violence. Listener discretion is advised. Okay. Hello, Death by Southwest listeners. Of course, the second I pressed record, the dog just woke up and is now going to come in here and be annoying. But I don't have a super long bonus today. And don't worry, yes, we are going to get back into mini crime stories on Monday. Not today. It's not happening today, but I am going to get back. I'm trying to see, can I raise this microphone at all? I don't think so. Whoa, something just fell off of the microphone. That's not ideal. Well, we'll fix that later. Okay. So I'm recording on video, yes, for Patreon, but also I just got off of a call with Brandon and his business partner and his marketing ad sales person, who is very knowledgeable and had a lot of great information and ideas for trying to grow the show. When we started off the show 2 years ago, which I can't believe, it was, first of all, not just me. I had my co-host, Jenna, who maybe one day will be returning, but we will see. And we had a lot of listeners, a lot more listeners. And I don't say that to, I don't want to make you guys who are listening and a lot of you who have been listening since the beginning feel less important or anything like that. You're very important and I love all of you. Also, if I'm able to grow the show and have it make kind of some income, then I'm able to spend more time on it, obviously. Or maybe that's not obvious. I don't know. But my time that I can spend on the show right now is limited to when I'm not doing other work that is paying work. And I don't ever want to think of this as work because I really enjoy doing it. But I also try to be completely transparent with you guys and honest. And I would love to be able to spend more time on this show, do more episodes, do more beyond just the episodes. But in order for that to happen, we got to grow the show a little bit. So Ben had some really great ideas for how to do that. And I'm going to ask you guys for your help on that. But I'll save that for the end of this little bonus episode. I had an eventful weekend, so that I'm going to talk about the weekend. I also wanted to answer the episode last week. I wrote down a few things. I wrote down University of the Incarnate. And I think I mentioned that in the episode. I truthfully can't remember why, but it must have had something to do with something. And when I did, I thought it felt like, I don't know, like a Harry Potter thing. You know what I mean? I heard the University of the Incarnate, and I was like, oh, this must be something so weird. Oh, I know why. Because it's in San Antonio. And that's where last week's episode took place. Good job, me, for figuring that out. It's not like a magical, Hogwarts type university. It's just a regular university. It's a private Catholic university. And the main campus is in Alamo Heights, San Antonio, Texas. It's the largest Catholic university in Texas. Apparently, it has the university encompasses 11 schools and colleges, 2 campuses in Mexico, a European study center, global online, and a co-educational high school. So there's a lot more information on it, but I don't think that it's pertinent to the story from last week, and it's probably not pertinent to many of our lives right now, unless you're going there. So yeah. It's not a magical Harry Potter school. It's just a regular school. What else? Did I tell you about the Halara leggings that I got? Or was that just on Patreon? I can't remember. Sorry to all of our male listeners who probably don't care, but the Halara leggings, if you've been on TikTok at all or Instagram, I think you've probably seen ads for them. And I finally gave in and ordered the butt lifting Halara leggings. And when I first tried them on, I did not like them because I felt like they kind of cut in at the waist. You know, I'm short. So usually leggings go like up to realistically, like up to my boobs. And that's fine, but I don't like it when they're so tight that they like cut in to my body. I mean, who does like that? And give me like a nice, a good roll of skin and fat right over the top. It's not my favorite. And I thought that's what these were going to do. And they do a little bit, but it's not too bad. They also are supposed to like suck in your stomach and flatten your stomach. I didn't notice that so much. And they are supposed to lift your butt. And they have these like bands underneath the butt section. And when I tried them on here in the mirror, I was like, I can see the band. Like this is not fooling anyone. Nobody's going to look and be like, whoa, her butt is so lifted. I wonder how that's happening. They're going to look and be like, oh, I can literally see like an elastic band underneath her butt that's lifting it. But I wore them out on Saturday. I just decided, whatever, let's try them out. And Mark did say, I really like these leggings. They look really good. And he's not the most observant person of like what I'm wearing. You know, if I wore the same thing like 3 days in a row, he might notice, but he might not. I'm trying to explain that, and I'm doing a really bad job and fumbling over my words, that he, like that comment, him saying he likes the leggings, it's not just blowing smoke up my ass, basically. Like he didn't know that I got new leggings and then say that. And he doesn't tell me every single pair of leggings that I wear. He's not like, and I wear them constantly. He's not like, oh, I like those leggings. Ooh, I like these leggings. So he noticed, he liked them. There was some redeeming quality about these leggings. And I will say that as the day went on, I wore them and we went bowling. And I haven't been bowling in, I don't know, 10 years maybe. And when you're bowling, I feel like an asshole explaining this because I don't need to, but you walk up and your whole backside is to whoever you're bowling with. And I felt very confident wearing these leggings while I was bowling. So my initial review of them was like, no, don't waste your money. And now I feel like actually they are not perfect. They're not going to be my favorite leggings. I have some that are my favorite leggings, and my favorite leggings are the kind that don't have elastic at the top, so they don't cut in. I know I've already said that before, I think. But I do like them, and I might get another pair in a different color. So not a good review, but not a bad review. Yeah, that's my review. And you guys are so sweet. When I mentioned leggings and like wanting maybe more Fabletics, I had like several people. Actually, I had Micah was like, I have a subscription to Fabletics. I can get you a discount, which was so kind. I really love the community of listeners that we have on here. And I know that you guys have said it feels sometimes to you like you're listening to a friend tell you a story. And to me, it feels like I have a lot of friends out there. Like I really do feel that way. I also wrote down to look up cell phone towers because I think I was wondering like how accurate are cell phone towers when it comes to determining like exactly where someone's location was. And I had this pulled up on my computer and my Google refreshed or something. So I guess I don't need to relook it up and read it to you. It basically said even today, like cell phone towers are not super accurate. So it'll give you a general idea of where someone is, which is, I think I knew that. We've talked about that in other episodes. I was just wondering if by today, maybe cell phone towers are more accurate. Like it could pinpoint somebody's location more specifically than it did, when this took place, which I believe was 2009. And the answer to that is no, apparently not. I also wrote down minoxidil. I'm not sure why. I am using topical minoxidil. Now, if anybody is young, and by young, I mean younger than me, so that's probably a lot of people. Um, you may not know what minoxidil is. Minoxidil is a hair regrowth treatment. And apparently, you can take it, you can like take a pill, so you can take it internally, but you can also use it topically, which is what I'm doing. Because the other day I was feeling the top of my head and I was like, where's all my hair? Now, if you're watching this on video, you can see that my hair is very, very blonde. And so certainly the health of my hair is not great after the 36,000 colorings that I've done to it in the past 2 months. But I didn't, but I do think that my hair is, I've always had really thick hair and it's feeling a little thin these days, especially like where I always part it and stuff. If Mark heard me talking about this, he would be so irritated because he actually has like lost a lot of his hair on the top of his head. And so he'd be like, what are you talking about? You have plenty of hair. uh, so I went and I got minoxidil. It's actually from Hers. I've talked about Hers and I think I've read a couple ads for them. I've talked about, I've got my antidepressant from them and I get the compounded semaglutide shot that I'm taking that seems to have completely stopped working for me. I lost 30 pounds and now 6 weeks, nothing. That's a whole nother story though. We won't get into. So it's by them and you can order it through the app, but they had it at Walmart for like $14. So I got it. It says to use it twice a day for 3 months before you see anything. So we'll see. That's it. That's not an exciting story. I'm sorry, but it is a product that if for any ladies, they make it for men too. I think men can. It's the same thing. It's minoxidil for men or women. I think the men's minoxidil is a slightly higher concentration, but for men or ladies who are experiencing any type of hair thinning or loss. This is not an ad, by the way. I just bought it at Walmart and I'm interested to see if it actually works. And I feel like I tell you guys a lot of things that I try, and then I'm tell you honestly if it works or it didn't work, or if I like it or if I didn't like it. So anyways, the minoxidil, trying it, we'll see. It's only been a couple days. The sausage. I had several people respond to my Instagram stories saying like, how was it? The Esposito's sausage that I probably talked about for too long on some episode last week, the sausage that my grandma used to send us in Chicago that I just ordered from New York. It got delivered Thursday and Mark and I made it and ate it Friday night. It's 5 pounds. So it's 3 coils that are about, if you're watching this, you can obviously see what I'm doing. If you're not, they're, I don't know how to describe it. It's a coiled sausage, thin sausage, it's really good. It didn't taste exactly as I remembered it. Also, I'm remembering how it tasted when I was like 12, so 400 years ago. It didn't taste exactly the same. It was absolutely delicious. I do think Mark overcooked it a little bit. So I like texted my dad and I was like, Dad, how long did you cook it on the grill? Because I think it's a little bit dry how Mark made it. It was delicious still. We still have 2 more coils. So I'm going to try and cook one and then we're going to have my dad cook one and see like if it can be less dry. Sorry, I had to drink water. What else? But yes, thank you for asking, those of you who asked about the sausage. It was delicious. And if there's anyone out there who loves Italian sausage, this isn't, I don't know, $75 for 5 pounds seems kind of expensive, but Mark said it wasn't that he doesn't think that's that expensive. So if you're a big sausage person, like you enjoy eating Italian sausage, I think in the show notes from last week, I put the link to Esposito's website. It's Esposito's in New York. You can just look it up and I'd recommend it. It's very delicious. What other thing? I keep talking about doing like an episode on death and dying, which sounds super morbid, but I know I've said it on Patreon. I've probably said it on here that it's been on my mind a lot lately. And not in I'm so depressed, I'm sitting around like crying in bed all day thinking about death. Not like that at all. Just just in being very aware that I'm going to die and the people I love are going to die. And I've already, I've lost my mom, I've lost all my grandparents, I've lost, my beloved bulldog. I've lost plenty of people. So I'm not just realizing that death exists and that we're all going to die. Um, it has just been, I've just been thinking about it a lot and like what this is not the death episode. I'm unprepared at this moment to get fully into it. It is something that I want to talk about because I really enjoy working things out on the podcast, like my own personal little therapy session. I'm sure plenty of you absolutely hate that aspect of this podcast, but I enjoy it. So I'm going to do it, but I don't want to do this. I don't want to do exactly what I'm doing right now, like him and haw and 2 minutes of just dead air while I'm trying to collect my thoughts. I want to have a more succinct and concise and well thought out conversation with, I was going to say with myself, but really with you guys, even though you can't respond, about all of these kind of death and dying and life as well. I think that's also a big part of it is thinking about death so much has caused me also to really think about my life. And I don't want to cry right now. And I've been very like my ability to cry has been like right on the surface last few days. Again, probably because, and I hate saying this, and I hate when a man says this to me. I feel like it's unacceptable. But because it is that time of the month, I don't like saying that either. Why can't we just normalize being like, I have my period? Like it's just a normal thing. I know nobody wants to like actually talk about it or think about it, but it is. And that's what's happening. And I am not always, but sometimes more emotional around that time. And I'm allowed to say that. And, but like, if Mark ever, which he doesn't anymore, but I think he did once or twice be like, is it, and this is like nothing new. This is very cliche. Like, oh, is it that time of the month for you? And like, I want to punch him in the face the last time he said that. So he has never said that again. Because if you have not experienced this, and as a man, you haven't experienced kind of like not having control of your emotions. And yes, you know why, but it doesn't make it easier. It doesn't make it better. And each month it's different. There are some months where like I'm totally fine. I would never even know that I have my period. It's just like any other day of the month. And then there are days, and then there are months where it is so incredibly bad and I feel so not like myself and so emotional or so angry and irritable that it's so frustrating. And so if you as a male have not experienced that, I personally, my belief is that you don't really get to comment on it and you don't get to ask me if because I snapped at you, if it's that time of the month. I find that super irritating, as I'm sure most women do. So that was a little side rant. So I'm not going to get into the death conversation now because it is something that has been so on my mind and I've spent so much time thinking about and talking out loud about with Mark, that I don't want to, I don't want to fuck up I want to have a good conversation that people can relate to or understand where I'm coming from at least. And I'm not prepared to do that right now. So I'm just going to keep talking about it until I actually sit down and do that episode, and I will. Um, what else? I was going to talk about the weekend. We did the sausage. We went bowling. We went bowling. Um, Saturday night, I think we were going to watch a movie, but we ended up just talking. We couldn't stop talking, which is nothing new. And then Sunday, we went to Tombstone so that I could meet Mark's uncle, who I've never met. Well, I met him briefly at Mark's dad's funeral, but I never really met him. And Mark and him have always been really close. So it was really nice to go do that and see Mark's brother and sister-in-law and their kids, who are lovely, and then also meet his uncle and her and his wife, who were wonderful. Loved meeting them. And I had been to Tombstone before, but I love it. And oh my God, guys, whenever I see a bulldog, I have to. It's like it's inside of me. I have to like go up to them, and I always ask, "Can I say hello to your dog?" And so I saw a bulldog, and I went up and said, "Can I say hi to your dog?" And they said, sure. And so I got down and was playing with it. And she's like licking my face. And I said, how old is she? Or is it a boy or girl? How old is she? 4 years old. And I said, what's her name? And they said, Izzy. And when I tell you, immediate tears, like these people looked at me like I was insane because I just started crying when they told me their dog's name. I was like, I'm sorry. I had to put my bulldog of 13 years. Her name was Izzy. I put her to sleep. It's actually been like over a year, but I still can't seem to not cry about it. It was cool and sad, but I love meeting bulldogs. And it was cool because in Tombstone, well, I've never seen the movie Tombstone, which feels a little shameful to admit because it's a very popular classic movie, and I've now been to Tombstone twice. Um, but also because Oliver's dad's in it. And I don't know, even though I don't know Kurt personally, like I've met him on a Zoom, and I feel like I know him because Oliver has talked about him so much on, when we did Daddy Issues. Um, he's everywhere. Like he's on magnets and coasters and t-shirts and hats and pictures and signed pictures. And it's like Kurt Russell everywhere, which is cool. I still get, I mean, he, again, I don't know him personally, but through Oliver, I adore him. He just seems like the most spectacular man. And so it was cool to see him everywhere. And that's it. Today is my mom's birthday. My sister said she would be 77, which is crazy. I mean, it's not because my dad just turned 75. But when my mom died when she was 67, I guess. I thought she was 66. And I thought she was going to be 76 this year. I don't know. The math may be off. And I haven't figured it out because it doesn't really matter. I can never imagine my mom, I feel like would have hated being 77. She never she didn't want to get old. She was pretty vain. Um, and she was youthful. So even when she died, she was, I would have never, she didn't look her age and she didn't act. I mean, act your age is such a stupid thing to say. I feel like she acted, she was young. She had a young spirit about her. And I can practically hear her if she was alive, that if she lived this, she'd be like, I'm as old as your grandma was. Because I remember again, such is life. We watch our parents get old and we think we're never going to be old. And then all of a sudden we're old. Um, this all ties into like the death and life, just thoughts and conversations that I've been having with myself. Anyways, today is her birthday, which is always a bittersweet day because I miss her immensely. And I want to also not be sad and celebrate her. I haven't done a good job of that today. I talked to her a bit on my morning walk with the dogs. I try to talk to her, but it's still, I don't know if anybody else has lost parents or siblings or husbands or wives, which I would imagine is just as painful, if not more, than losing a parent or children, God forbid. but she died in 2016. So it's been 9 years. And I still have trouble talking about her without getting choked up, as I obviously am right now. And I thought that would change. I thought that would go away over time. And it's strange because there are times when I can talk about her easily, and not get choked up, I guess. Uh, this is not one of those times, guys. But yeah, I tried to talk to her because she, before she died, she said, "You better talk to me when I'm gone. I'm going to listen." And I try to, but it always makes me really sad, which sucks because I would like to feel close to her and feel like I can still communicate with her and talk to her. Um, but it hurts. It hurts. So I don't do it as much. But I did try to on the walk this morning, and I'm gonna go have dinner with Mark, just to not be alone on her birthday, and have a dinner where we can cheers to her. And what else? New episode tomorrow. Oh, I did. Excuse me, guys. I did get through some Instagram messages. So if you message me, I think I messaged most people back. Not everyone, but most people who have messaged me recently. I have not gone through the text messages or voicemails yet. That is happening tomorrow. I did get through some emails though. I got a great email from a Gabriel in Texas, hospice nurse. And wow, I just have to say, amazing that you are a hospice nurse. I cannot imagine how difficult that would be. Um, and Gabriel is, I don't know if this is from a woman or a man, and it doesn't matter at all, I suppose, but I just don't want to refer to Gabriel as a man and it's a woman, or refer to Gabriel as a woman and it's a man. So I I'm just gonna say sorry, Gabriel. I'm not sure, so I'm gonna just say Gabriel, I guess. But Gabriel sent a lovely email, um, that kind words about the show, and then like some really great case suggestions, um, and wants to hear back from me about my thoughts about these case suggestions. And so I just wanted to say, Gabriel, thank you for emailing. Thank you for the case suggestions. Uh, and thank you for the kind words, for saying that Gabriel said that they knew some of the stories that I've told. They were familiar with some of the stories that I've told. But they said, I like hearing the way that you tell them, which is such a huge compliment. So thank you. Because a lot of the time I feel like I'm telling them very poorly. Um, I kind of just, fly by the seat of my pants with this podcast, unfortunately. But that is, that's what I have to do right now until I have a full-time income, or until this starts making money a little bit. And then I can spend some more time on it. And that being said, I do want to spend more time on it. So just moved the show over to Brandon's new network called EVO. And the ad sales marketing guy, Ben, is very knowledgeable, very accomplished, and has some great ideas for growing the show. And I wrote them down. Where are they? Well, one of the things that he said that a great way to get kind of featured on Apple, which is how a lot of people find their podcasts, is consistent reviews. He said it's more important to get like 2 reviews a week, every week on Apple, rather than getting 40 reviews in one week and then getting no reviews like the next week. So he said he encouraged me to ask my lovely, loyal, and engaged listeners, to leave a review, and then to like consistently leave a review, like not just once, which is a lot to ask. But I would be incredibly grateful if you listen on Apple and you're familiar with the Apple Podcast app and you have a minute or two to leave a review, not just like click the stars, but leave an actual review saying whatever you want and whatever you think. That would be very, very helpful to the show, and I would appreciate that immensely. And he also suggested that I ask some of my loyal listeners to recommend the show to a friend or family member. And quite honestly, I have heard from so many of you over the past 2 years who have said, I told my friend, I told my sister, I told my mom, I told my brother, and now they listen and they love it. So I feel like that already happens, and I'm incredibly grateful for that word of mouth. But if you haven't, and you know somebody who you think would like the show, that would be awesome for you to pass it along. And I also understand that the show has been inconsistent. You know, it was Jenna and I, we were very consistent. It was fully focused on true crime and nothing else for a good while. And then we got off course. I got off course with the breakup and dealing with life. And so the show kind of became something else for a while, became more just my soapbox to work out my issues and share my innermost thoughts with you guys, and had nothing to do with true crime for a second. And then once I came back, you know, Jenna was no longer here. So then it was just me. And I've tried to be consistent with the true crime, but you know, haven't always accomplished that. So I am really dedicated to trying to grow the show and doing more with the show in this new year and at this new network with this new marketing and ad sales man who will be helping. So I'm going to try and be more consistent with the true crime. I'm never going to be a true crime. This is never going to be a true crime show where it is just like journalistic, straightforward. It's always true crime, and you hear nothing about me or my life or my opinion. That's just not going to happen because it's not me. I'm never going to do that. But I will try to keep a larger focus on the true crime. That is my goal for this year, a bigger focus on the true crime. And then if I want to share things about my life, though, that can be, you know, on Patreon or just added bonus stuff. What else did he suggest to me? Oh, well, apparently, so I knew that Spotify does videos with their podcasts because I had seen Bill Maher, like when they started offering video, you can upload videos to Spotify and watch them in the Spotify like player. I want to say Call Her Daddy does that. I think the Bill Maher podcast does that. That's not what it's called, but I don't know what it's called. And he said that it's a great way to find new listeners because Spotify is really pushing podcasts who have a video component. So I'm going to try it with this. That's why I'm recording this on video. It is just a bonus episode, so I'm sure nobody really cares. I'm not saying anything super interesting here, but I'm going to upload it on Spotify as a video. I'm also going to upload it on Patreon, and I'm going to start uploading the videos on YouTube. I don't know who would want to sit here and look at my face while I'm talking about myself for an hour. But he said it can really help with growth, and that is the goal. So that's what I'm going to do, and we'll see. And Delaney, another email. I know I'm jumping around here, but so Gabriel, thank you for your suggestions. Thank you for wanting to, I think, hop on the phone with me and talk about some of them. I absolutely, probably next week, will look more into these cases, and then we'll also look into, you know, perhaps you and I can connect. Yes, Delaney sent an email because there was, which I really appreciate. Appreciate. I don't know why I said that so weird. Thank you. Wanted to flag that there's a new cold case homicide unit from the Arizona Attorney General's office. Okay, I wanted to flag this one. A new cold case homicide unit from the Arizona Attorney General's office. Oh, because I did an episode on Diane I can't remember the last name of the woman, and Jennifer Luth's murder. And this is one of the homicide cases that this particular unit is going to focus on solving. Um, so she says the new unit will coordinate statewide resources to help solve cold case homicides that rural and small police offices are having trouble with. Exactly the kind of increased attention, money, and processing technology that we've talked about on the show about how that's important to finally kind of solve some of these cold cases and bring justice for the families. Um, oh, and she offered to let her know if myself or anyone else would like to speak to someone from the Attorney General's office about this new unit and how it helps solve investigations that have gone cold. Delaney, yes, I would love to. I think that's the kind of stuff I'd like to start trying to do more of this year with the show is have on experts, whether it's forensics or detectives or police or paramedics, just anybody who may who's an expert in the field of, whether it's you actually are a detective working on cases or you're like adjacent to true crime cases. I would like to start having them on the show and just, briefly, I mean, like, 15 minutes, a conversation, get some of their insight. And this would be a great place to start. So Delaney, I will write you back. I will contact you. I have to reteach myself how to record a phone conversation. I have the equipment to do it, but it's been a minute. So thank you so much for reaching out. That was really, really thoughtful. And yes, I will be getting back to you. And yeah, I would like to do more of that. So if you are listening and you know somebody who works, in around about true crime, geez, what noises are coming out of my mouth today? Let me know. Send me an email, send me a text message to the Google Voice line. Yeah, I would love to have some experts on the show. And then also my new ad sales guy, Ben, well, he's not mine, but he's helping with this show. He suggested doing kind of collaborations with other true crime podcasters and feed drop exchanges. So if you guys see, an episode of a different show in the Death by Southwest feed, that's because they also are allowing me to put an episode of Death by Southwest in their feed. So they will to kind of grow the audience. And then I think I'm going to have Brandon come on here. I think I'm going to go on his podcast, The Devil Within. So, lots of things. Lots of things that I'm going to sorry, I was trying to speak and read an email all at the same time in my head, and it wasn't working so well. Lots of things that I'm going to try and implement on the podcast this year, and hopefully, you guys will help me figure out what things are working, what things aren't. But I would like to really try and grow this little show a bit more because I'd love to do things like a live podcast. Like, how fun would it be to have a live podcast sitting on the stage and have, somebody from one of these cases come and tell the story with me? But all those things require more than like 6 people sitting in the audience. So in order to do that, we need to find some new listeners, and I need to put my best foot forward with writing the episodes, telling the episodes. I'm trying really hard not to make as many mouth smacking noises because I know I've gotten comments about that. And I would love to be able to spend more time editing these and put actual music and stuff in them. So all of that comes with growing the show. And I know that is my job, but I also would love help from you guys. You have been the listeners. I'm going to get choked up again. Oh my God. The listeners, a lot of you guys have been around since the very beginning, and it blows my mind. It is humbling. I am so grateful that you give a shit at all about what I have to say or think, and the cases that I'm sharing and the way that I tell the story. I know it's not how a lot of other podcasts tell stories, and I appreciate you guys being here and sticking around and listening and being supportive and through all of the ups and downs. This has been truly, I mean, I've kind of lived my life for the past 2 years out on this podcast, and I like that. That feels honest to me, and that works for me. So I'm going to continue doing that. And those of you who that resonates with, and who, you guys, you like it, you like me. I don't really have words. Obviously, it makes me uncomfortable to talk about because I'm stumbling through this. But what I'm trying to say is thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your suggestions, for your support, for your comments and insight, and just all of it. Like, I really do feel like I have some friends here, and I'm grateful for it. So Patreon, the cocktail Zoom next week. So tell me what day next week works for you. I obviously cannot accommodate everybody, but let's do it next week. And I'm open to do it any day next week. Probably around, 5:30, 6, maybe 6:30 my time, which is Mountain Time. But yeah, and my Zoom, I think my Zoom, I don't pay premium Zoom anymore, so it gives me 45 minutes when I'm running a Zoom meeting. So we'll have 45 minutes, we'll have a drink, we'll talk, we'll chit chat, and I will look forward to doing that with whoever is a Patreon member who wants to do that. Get on Zoom with me and the other Patreon members and chit chat. But let me know what day works for you, and then I will try to pick the day that the most people can attend. I think that's it for today. I feel like I've been talking, I don't know how long, but it feels like a really long time. And I know today is also Inauguration Day. So for some of you that may be a happy day, for some of you that may be a not happy day. I refuse to comment about politics on this show, so I will leave that out. I will just say that whatever kind of day you're having, I hope that if it's a good day, that it continues into tomorrow. And I hope that if it's not a good day, that tomorrow is better for you. And I love you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the show. Please leave an Apple review if you listen on Apple, and tell a friend. Subscribe to our YouTube. I am going to start uploading the video episodes there. Maybe not the entire one, because then I feel like people on Patreon, that's a benefit they get, is the full video episodes. But I also do a lot of other stuff on Patreon, I think. So we'll see. But subscribe. You don't even have to watch the YouTube. Just go subscribe. Well, that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, guys, I love you so much. Happy Monday. And I'll be back tomorrow with a new episode. So come listen tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Death by Southwest is hosted by Jenna Schneider and Margot Carmichael.
Executive produced by Margot Carmichael.
Produced by Jenna Schneider.
Audio editing and sound design by Margot Carmichael.
Music by Soundstripe.
And a special thanks to Edward R. Murrow for letting us borrow his famous sign-off phrase, "Good night and good luck."